Yo, I don't think we should talk about this.
Come on, why not?
People might misunderstand what we're trying to say, you know? But it's a part of life.
Come on.
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex.
Let's talk about sex for now. To the people at home or in the crowd, it keeps coming up anyhow. Don't decoy, avoid, or make void the topic.
Cause that ain't gonna stop it.
Now, we talk about sex on the radio and video shows.
Many will know.
Anything goes. Let's tell it like it is and how it could be. How it was and, of course, how it should be. Those who think it's dirty have a choice. Pick up the needle, press pause, or turn the radio off. Will that stop us, Pen?
I doubt it.
All right, then. Come on, Spin.
Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex.
Hot to trap, make any man's eyes pop. She use what she got to get whatever she don't got. Fellas drew like fools, but then again, they're only human. This chick was a hit because her body was booming. Gold, pearl, rubies, crazy diamonds. Nothing she wore was ever common. Her dates, heads of state, men of taste, lawyers, doctors. No one was too great for her to get with or even mess with. The press, she says, was next on her list. And believe me, it's as good as true. There ain't a man alive that she couldn't get next to. She had it all in the bag. So she should have been glad. But she was mad and sad and feeling bad, thinking about the things that she never had. No love, just sex. Followed next with a check and a note that last night was dope.
Oh. Hey. Ooh, take it easy, y'all. All right.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
Sing it.
Let's talk about you and
Sing it.
let's
Sing
talk about
it.
all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about sex.
Come on.
Let's talk about sex.
Do it.
Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex.
Ladies, all the ladies, louder now, help me out. All the ladies, all right, ladies, all the ladies, louder now, help me out. All the ladies, all right.
Yo, Pat, I don't think they're gonna play this on the radio.
Why not? Everybody have sex.
I mean, everybody should be making love.
Come on, how many guys you know make
Let's
love?
talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be.
What we have here is subject to controversy. A three-letter word some regard as a curse. See, he may fiend and have a dream because he's seen a team.
Hi, how are you? I've got another pair of glasses on. Can't quite get any good lighting, so all sound, but it's all my own fault. So here we are. So I thought I'd just tell you a little bit of a story. We've got the presidential debate tonight, which I'm very much looking forward to. I think Kamala Harris is going to lose badly. I think she's a liar, and I think she deserves to lose. And I think the Democrats have relied upon not talking about issues. And when I talk about people around here, and I'm talking about sort of hotel staff, shop assistants, etc., they're all shy about voting Republican, but I think that's how they're going to vote. And this is California, but I think everyone's had enough. And obviously, you've now got the story of people eating cats and killing geese in the streets. So it's really weird to be in a country so far, far away, and the same sort of manipulation tactics being used on people. It's just really mad. So excuse me, I'm very tired. I've been awake since ridiculous hours this morning. But anyway, just before I came here, I went and got myself a lipstick because I like wearing makeup. And I went into a local shop that sells them. Very friendly woman. who asked me why I was getting a lipstick. Was it for anything in particular? Was I going to was it an evening out or whatever? And I said, I'm coming over to America and I wanted it for that. And she said, what are you doing in America? And I said, well, I'm Haitians, Rebecca. Apparently, migrants from Haiti who've been given sort of immunity. I can't remember what it's called over here, but they are taking cats and geese and animals and eating them. I don't know why you haven't heard of it over there. Perhaps you're just not on the sort of social media that I am, but yeah, it's everywhere. It's nuts and it's everywhere. And then obviously you've got the Venezuelan gangs, and those stories have really been pushed on social media. I don't know so much if they're anywhere else, but it's crazy. It's crazy what's going on here. Crazy. And these are from people, this is not just what I gleaned from social media. This is also everywhere. And I think that there's just this, and perhaps all political parties do it. Perhaps it's just more exaggerated now. Perhaps I see it more than I used to. Perhaps I was ready for the lies before. But anyway, there's the expression, don't piss on my leg and tell me that it's raining. And I feel that that's what governments, both the Tories and the Labour Party, and definitely over here the Democrats, I feel that that's what they're doing. I watched a recent speech by Michelle Obama. Bearing in mind, she is worth a freaking fortune for being married to someone. I don't know what that woman's done, but, people even talk about Michelle Obama going into politics. And I'm thinking, are we really at that point, ladies, where being married to someone means that you suddenly have some credibility to do the same job as them? Like, should I now go and run a company because my husband does? Should I go and do what he does just because he's done it? And it's a little bit crazy. I might actually pull down the blind so I can see you. One sec. Hi. Okay, so what we've got then is we've got this debate tonight where hopefully they'll discuss the issues that most people are voting on. Somebody says, wasn't Michelle a lawyer? Look, I genuinely don't care what she did. She wasn't the president. She wasn't in politics. And I think it's a little bit weird to say that, it's a bit like Hillary, that, oh, your husband was in politics, therefore you should run for president. No, you should run for president because you've had a great career. And obviously Hillary did have a career in politics. But her husband being a president should have no bearing whatsoever on whether or not a woman should be president. That's mad. Anyway. So we've got this thing tonight. But it's just really odd to see the same sort of manipulation. And then obviously Canada is so much worse. Australia is so terrible. And they seem to find it really difficult to fight the good fight in Australia. They seem to have partisan politics over there, but it's partisan, but also it's incredibly close. There's not much between them, and perhaps that's the same as the UK, and we just don't know it. But in Australia, the supposed conservatives are a little bit woke, and so nothing really works, and nothing's really identifiable, and I think that's why everything's slightly difficult over there, because there's no tribe. And then obviously New Zealand's really bad. It's a very small country, and it doesn't take very many people in power to corrupt an entire country if you've only got 5 million population. Anyway, I digress. So I went to go and get myself this lipstick, and this woman who's very friendly, very, very nice, very friendly, asked me what I did. I said women's rights, and she said, oh, I do something like that. I help, wait for it, I help acceptance for LGBTQ plus people. She said, because I'm a same-sex parent, and it was really difficult for my daughter. And I said, really? She said, yeah, people will say, where's your dad? And I thought, well, I don't think that's difficult. I said, yeah, but you've got lots of single parents and you've got lots of people with different families now. I didn't think it was an issue. I remember like 20 years ago or nearly 20 years ago when my sons were at Catholic school and there were two dads and nobody really batted an eyelid. I don't remember anyone even anything beyond, oh yeah, they're two dads. So she was like, so she said, well, I go and talk and we sort of promote acceptance. And I just thought, that's weird because that's making an issue where there doesn't need to be one. My daughter's only small. And then she said, bearing in mind, she said about 4 times she's a lesbian, same-sex parents, that her ex, who is now ex, the other mother, is transitioning to be a man. And so, that's different again. And I think I was supposed to go, oh, yeah. So I said, oh, gosh, how awful for your daughter to lose her mum, one of her mummies. So at least she's got the other one. Oh, no, yeah, but, she understands. I said, well, I don't expect she does. I said, and I couldn't live with myself unless I told you that taking testosterone is no good for the female body. And actually it can lead to heart failure and Alzheimer's and atrophy to the point that you have to have a hysterectomy, which is why the Alzheimer's comes. I said, and it's really, really, really damaging for the human body, for the female body. I said, but more than that, for your little girl, some girls who've gone through it, they end up having to have grief counselling because it's like they've lost a mother. I said, still, at least she's got 2. And I said, but your ex, what she's doing to her body is really dangerous. And she said, well, I think it's her choice. And I said, well, I don't think it is, actually. I think once you have children, I don't know if you can make those choices. I said, yeah, I guess, it'd be her choice to take heroin. I said, but you'd probably be against it. I said, don't you worry a little bit what message that sends to a daughter. Bearing in mind, look, I'm very smiley. I'm trying to lessen the blows, but I do have to say it because that's what I do, and I can't advocate for other people to have difficult conversations if I'm not prepared to have them. And I couldn't also walk away from a situation where I know somebody's going to do something unquestioned. In fact, probably celebrated by everyone else. Oh my God, you're so great. You're so wonderful. Isn't it so wonderful? So, and she knows. And I mean, the normal bullshit of she's known since she was younger. And I said, so I didn't say this, actually. I didn't say this. I did think this later. And I just thought, well, you're not a lesbian then, are you? If you truly believe that the person you went out with was and had a baby with, no father, and had a baby with was a man all along, then surely you're not a lesbian. But anyway, I didn't say that. So she, I just said, I just wonder what impact it has on a little girl when she goes through puberty and she knows that one of her mummies hated being female so much, she pretended to be a man. And she said, oh, she's only young. And I said, yeah, it kind of makes it worse, doesn't it? And she said, she was like, yeah, well, I think live and let live. And I said, yeah, that's another thing that people say. And actually, your daughter can't live and let live, can she? Because she's had that imposed on her. I said, so she's been forced to accept the idea that women can be men. I said, so, I wish you all the love and luck in the world. I really do. I really do wish you so much luck and love, and especially to your daughter. But I really do have to tell you the things that I know. And I hope you're okay with that. And then I left. I just think we've got to start doing that. When someone says, oh, yeah, their nephew's trans, I think your response has to be, oh, God, how awful. How terrible. Was he sexually abused? Who do you think abused him? Who do you think caused the trauma? I would just start doing that. Because I'm sure every single person that woman has had a conversation with has either been a raging kind of, oh, that's unnatural, that's disgusting, oh, that's ridiculous, or in which case she won't listen at all, or has been very much like, oh, that's so amazing. Oh, wow, you're so accepting because you're such a great person. You're so wonderful. Aren't you so wonderful? Isn't it so great that your daughter will have all these experiences where she's coerced and gaslit before she's even 7? Isn't it so great? So these are the conversations I think maybe one-on-one that we have. And actually what you do is you introduce a little something into that person's life, which is not, well, she's a bitch, wasn't she? Well, what a cow that woman was. But, you know, just if you say things in a certain way that almost sounds inquisitive, as well as saying, look, I have to tell you this because I know this to be true. And you can sort of give it to them, also cloaked in, I mean, I say cloaked, I genuinely am concerned. I genuinely would like that woman to say to her ex-partner, you're an abuser. What you're doing is disgusting and you're gaslighting our daughter. But I just think that then she might then go away and have a conversation with someone. She goes, oh my God, this woman came in today and she said this, this and this. And the friend, and then they have a conversation about it. But you just plant these little seeds. And so that I think is really powerful on one-to-one, that you have to stay firm. There's quite a lot happening for me at the moment. When I get back to the UK, the party is going to be, we're going to really focus on the party, and pushing and pushing and pushing, because we've got 5 years to build, and the Labour Party have already proven that they really, really couldn't give a shit about anybody. No vulnerable groups. The only people they care about, I guess, are the people that might vote them in the next 5 years. And Keir Starmer says he's willing to be popular. I think what he's really saying is he's willing to do the most unforgivable things. That's what he means. Because everything's unpopular. You know, if you were to increase student fees by 5%, that would be unpopular. But doing something like the winter fuel allowance, at the same time as I think I read, and I put it on Twitter, we have I think our GDP is about 200 billion, 2 billion, 200 billion. No, it might be 2 trillion. Our GDP is very high, and our the amount we spend every year is 1.2 trillion, right? So that's 1,200 billion. And then what we're supposed to think is a 22 billion black hole, which, let me just say, is fuck all. Like, it sounds like so much money. I mean, it's so much money, it can convince you that some of these things have to happen. It can convince someone like Rosie Duffer, for example, to abstain as opposed to voting against the government. And quite frankly, I don't give a shit about the pretend kind of, I have to do this. I'll get the whip if I don't vote with the government. But at some point, Rosie, you're going to have a conscience. And all of the other Labour MPs who either voted with the government or abstained, like, at some point you are going to have a conscience. Like, you are put in office to have a fucking conscience. You're put in office to represent the views of your constituents. I couldn't give a shit about how much you feel you're in there with the rest of the party. And perhaps I'm naive and I don't understand politics, but there is no way in good conscience I could vote for or abstain. So that I just want to say that. And anyway, I think she's a massive, great big coward. Because anybody who was worth their salt would have removed themselves from the Labour Party over whatever. And I'm just going to say to you, Democrat women, if you don't vote for Trump, then you vote against women. And that might make some of you very, very angry, especially if you're on the socialist left, or especially if you're like, oh, I voted Democrat. Why? Why do you? Why do you? Like, exactly why? If this issue is important to you, if women are important, if women being raped in prison is important to you, if cutting off the healthy breasts of girls as young as 13, maybe even 12, in the United States of America on a daily fucking basis. If those things are important to you, you're voting Trump. Why are you doing that? Because he said he's going to stop it. And if you're not voting Trump, then you really, really are voting against women. All you have to do is put your little X there. You don't even need to tell anyone. You can have Trump derangement syndrome for the rest of the year if you want. But if you're still trying to, in fact, Martina came up in a conversation yesterday. If you're like someone like Martina Navratilova, and you claim to care about women's sports, and you claim to care about what's happening to young lesbians, and then you still defend Democrats, then you've lost your mind. You totally lost your mind. You absolutely have to vote for Trump. Somebody's like, I couldn't vote for a rapist. I couldn't give a shit, mate. They're cutting off, and I don't know who is a rapist. That's probably quite a dangerous thing to say. They are cutting off the breasts of girls by the thousands in the United States of America. If that doesn't make you want to vote for someone who will stand against it, I don't know what would. They're cutting off the testicles of boys and the penises of boys. They are teaching this shit in schools, along with critical race theory, which is another abomination. They are teaching this in schools. They are trying to separate children from their families. They're trying to totally eradicate what it means to be a mother. They're trying to stop you using words like mother, father, girl, boy, man, woman, wife, husband. If those things are not enough for you, right, to vote for Donald Trump, then you don't care about this at all. You don't care about those young girls. You don't care about the girls that go in hospital with cuts all over their bodies. Cuts here, deep scars, great big scars all over their arms. And then they go and see one of these nasty, vile butchers. And then they cut their breasts off. If that doesn't move you to vote for Donald Trump, then I don't really think that you have any right to talk about this at all. I just don't think you do. Oh, I really care about it. Well, what did you do in the election? Well, I still voted for Kamala Harris. Why? Well, because I'm a fucking idiot. And I don't really care about it after all. And I'd rather do anything than vote for Donald Trump, even though he said he's going to help stop the butchering of children. I just don't get you. I'm not interested in talking to you. I'm absolutely past it. It's because of you Democrat voters that you've had Biden that you lost so many Title IX protections. It's because of you women that went out and voted for Democrat and had Trump derangement syndrome before. It's because of you that within like the first 100 days of his presidency, he voted to put the Equality Act in, which eradicated women's rights. And then you have the audacity to say that you're going to vote for Kamala Harris this time and you really care about everything. You don't care about it. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity for you people in America to stop this shit, to stop it. And you're the trendsetters of the world. If you stop it here, it will stop. But if you abstain from voting or vote any other way than voting for Donald Trump, then you basically are saying that you are okay with butchering children. You're okay with women losing out in sport. You're okay with all of the other things done under the name of transgender ideology. You're okay with the Americans potentially losing their First Amendment right to free speech by having this kind of misgendering stuff. And I think it was a woman from Wolf told me all about the laws and how they're now going to make it difficult to use correct language in courts. So that's my advice to all of you. I just think either you want to stop the mutilation of children and you vote for Donald Trump, or you don't. But you can't say that you care about that. And the one guarantee that you've got in this election that you will come closer to stopping all of it if you vote Donald Trump than if you vote Democrats or for anyone else or abstain. If you then after that say that you didn't take that one opportunity, then I think you're full of shit. Anyway, Navratilova is disappointment. Can I just say one thing? If you find out that loads of your thinking was wrong, and that when you find out it's wrong and you find out that you was kind of almost part of a cult and your thinking was not really critical thinking, you just had these opinions because you were supposed to have these opinions. If the epiphany that actually you're wrong about that one thing doesn't mean that you then question your opinions on everything, then I don't think you're very intelligent. I think you're still very much with one foot in the cult. And I think that you are much more likely, as shown by most of the speakers at GenSpect, apart from our good friends, the Evans. But if you're in the GenSpect cult, which is a true trans cult, if you're in that still, and you're policing language, if you use he, him pronouns for like Buck Angel, if you use she, her for Caitlyn Jenner, if you've defended Debbie Hayton, if you are still voting against politicians who are saying that they will stop this vile mutilation of children, if you haven't come fully out of that particular brain fog, then I don't think you truly peaked. Anyway, if you can just be genuinely brave, dare to be honest, speak the truth. Whenever you can, then I promise we will win. If you can watch the Will Ferrell movie, Ferrell, I hope I'm going to watch it. It looks so shit. And you can see it for what it is, which is propaganda, then I promise we will win. And do you know why else we're going to win? Frankly, because I never lose.
In tight jeans. What makes him react like that is biological. The scheme on getting in those jeans is diabolical. But of course he does it, and she gives